Hi Harstem, I'm a big fan of yours. TVZ. I feel very unfair. I've been preventing him from developing fungal carpet tumors. My evil fire also burned a lot of fungal carpets. After the first attack, I went back to gather troops to fight the second attack. I played a double line. I knocked out one of his bases. Although the main force of the other half was gone, it changed almost the same. However, his soldiers made up too fast and I couldn't stop it at all. It's unfair. If it is my problem, please teach me how to face these things. I absolutely have zero idea what you just said. None. I don't even know what matchup. Well, you said TVZ after saying I'm a big fan of yours, comma, TVZ, and then period, I feel very unfair. I just kind of want to reject this one already. Hamster, wrap it up. Poop. You suck. I'm just kidding. All right. I guess what he's saying is, let's just try to decipher this message for a bit. I think what he means is that my evil fire is probably Hellions. So Hellions managed to burn a lot of creep tumors. After his first attack, he went back to gather up more forces for a second attack. He played a double line. He multitasked. He knocked out one of his bases. Well, that was pretty obvious. Although the main force of the other half was gone. I guess the other half is his opponent. It changed almost the same, probably means it changed nothing. His soldiers remaxed too fast and he couldn't stop it at all. So I guess the problem is that his opponent can remax too fast and produce too quickly. Got sent in from the Chinese server, a Masters player. He has a name that, I do not read Chinese, so I don't know what it says.
立于浮华之上.
4.2k MMR. It's gonna be on Death Aura and it's gonna be one hell of a replay. I can feel it already. In the bottom left we have our man, the subject, our Terran player, the man who is here with the evil fire, trying to destroy the fungal carpet tumors. The red Terran. Alright, in the bottom right we have IG Zhao, which is the Zerg for today. I'm curious to see what we have. I'm looking forward to this. The Chinese replays, not only do they always have great descriptions, they tend to be very, very good. The Chinese server is a server that I'd like to get a closer look at times, because these guys, they know how to play. It's of course not weird, as one of the greatest military strategists of all time comes out of China, Sun Tzu, this world famous book, The Art of War. Appear weak when you're strong, appear strong when you are weak. And loads of other, solid words of advice that can be applied to StarCraft. Let's see if our Terran friend also read The Art of War, or if he read The Art of Sucking, which also is an interesting book. Do not buy that if you're below 18. Barracks, I think this was a barracks first. Barracks first, yeah. Barracks first, depot. And we have just a standard hatch first on the other side of the map. So it's looking pretty solid here for opener-wise. Just your standard openers for both players. I don't mind this. There's no SCV scout, but you don't need the SCV scout every single game. I'm not gonna complain about not SCV scouting. It's just a decision you make. You want more money, you don't SCV scout. Good for you. I'm not gonna complain about that. If you like cash, if you like the money, you like a little bit of risk, yeah, don't SCV scout. I'm not gonna blame you for that. I don't probe scout half of my games. It's just to show some dominance, showing that you're not afraid. I think that's a good play. It's a good play. See what he's gonna do with the Reaper. He's even gonna keep the Reaper. Is he gonna keep it at home, or just gonna send it straight across the map? Straight across the map. No half measures here. He's just gonna bang it out and move. I like that. I do like that. Doesn't take the speed zones. This guy just wants to take the long way around. To bottle whiskey for the way. And he doesn't even need no sweet company. And he's leaving today. What do you say? And this Reaper's not gonna be gone. Hopefully. Throws a grenade. Gets a drone. That's a good start. I like this. Starts attacking the links as well and pisses off. Now this is a good start. Not very often do you see people get a drone. Follow up at home is second gas factory, barracks as well, and orbital finishing up. Reaper takes out a creep tumor as well. What is this? Creep tumor and a drone. This This is a very valuable Reaper over here. Look at this guy. It's the MVP so far of this game. He's looking healthy as well. Just healing up over here by himself in the corner. Oh, 1 HP every half a second or something like that. It's gonna go in for the second tumor most likely. Look at him. Oh, he sees it go down. He sees it go down. He sees it. Whoop. Right clicks it. Throws the grenade. Takes the tumor. Loses its life. Not quite worth it, of course, but I mean, he did a good job. You know, you take a risk. You know, this guy, he likes taking risks, though. You know, we can see that already. We can see that this Terran player is not. He's not a scared one. When he goes to an amusement park, he goes into all the roller coasters. You know, he likes to live on the edge. 4th depot is a little bit too quick. 5th depot is way too quick. 46 out of 62 is not quite what you need, but I mean, it's better than being supply blocked. You know, we've had a pro player, Elaser, who was building 19 overlords at the 5-minute mark, so he'd never be supply block again. You'd send out your first Void Ray, kill 4 overlords, and watch the replay. So he still had like 20 oversupplies. Like, what the hell is this? Creep tumors being thrown down, get taken out. So actually, a lot of the fungal carpet is being taken out here by the evil fire, as this overlord gets taken out by, I guess it was this marine as well. Now I did spot that there was cloak Banshee on the way, so shouldn't be able to do too much with these individual Banshees. When you get spotted with cloak Banshee, something that I think is in general very common at the moment, even if you don't get spotted, but it's also just very, very good, is to save up 2 Banshees and then go in with 2 at the same time, because usually the Spores or the Overseer, well, it's going to be Spores most likely, are going to be in time for that single Banshee, and you're not going to be able to do very much with that first Banshee, even though it has cloak, because I mean, you got spotted. Unless the opponent actually has no brain, you shouldn't be capable of getting any real damage there. 3rd CC on the way, barracks 3 and 2. 2 and 3 on the way as well. So we see 4 cars stay at home, 4 cars on the other side of the map. The Banshee flies in. It's gonna get 2 drones for free. Then decides to take a couple of shots to the head as well. I mean, why not? 2 workers. I really think saving it up would have been better here, or just go for 1 worker and then run away again, because I think that 1 worker was free damage. Now he took so much damage here, it's gonna be hard to go in later on. And once you have 2 Banshees, it just becomes way easier to one-shot drones. Well, it just becomes possible. If you have 1 Banshee, it's literally impossible to one-shot a worker. Now this Banshee is doing a little bit of work, still in vision range of the Spore. So honestly, not the hottest control on these Banshees. Yeah, it's just gonna lose it here, I guess. Yeah. Alright, Banshee goes down, flies into Spore after Spore. Without Overseers, you never really should be capable of losing Banshees, but control not looking too hot. However, the creep denial is looking pretty hot. I am liking the creep denial here. We see a lot of tumors going down already. I think we see maybe 4 or 5 to 7 tumors going down. The Banshee goes back in here. So this Banshee is actually going to be able to do a little bit of extra damage here as well. Gets what, 3 more workers. These Hellions are still all alive as well. Should be careful though. Don't really want to be losing that or even tanking any damage. Armory goes down. Stim has finished up already. Combat Shield hasn't started yet, and there's no real rally point on these Marines and tanks. We see a supply drop being utilized. Now all of this is honestly, sure, it isn't great, but it isn't the worst thing. As long as eventually you do start your Stim, I can kind of accept this, you know. Opponent is building 2 macro hatches in the main. It's not too keen on injecting, it seems like. Overall, I think this is not a bad situation for the Terran. If I'm a Terran here, I'm gonna be pretty freaking happy. We can repair our cars, we can move out with a little bit of a tank push. I mean, we have 2 tanks, and yeah, it's just all around looking pretty freaking solid. In position for the Ling run by. Hellion control, not brilliant, but okay, I think he lost 5 Hellions there. At least, maybe he lost 1 before. That's a lot of Hellions for against this many Lings. Yeah, that was a bit painful. But we're still in an okay spot. Okay, first push. Sure, it hits about a minute late. Sure, he completely forgot about Combat Shield. Sure, 2-2 hasn't started immediately, and he starts with armor rather than attack, which is definitely not the play. So it's not perfect, okay? But no one is perfect. To be fair, the Terran here really is very far from perfect, but let's just give him this, okay? +2 starts up. Sure, combat shield should have been done already at this point and hasn't started yet. Overstimming. Hello. What is this guy defending? He's holding the back line. In case there's a flank, he will die first. I don't even think they're in range of each other. He's like, if there's like 2 links attacking here, this guy won't even be able to cover. This tank is defending absolutely nothing. He's vulnerable to everything, defends nothing. Honestly, at this point, you might as well not take it. You know, this guy is just stay. If you don't want to join in on the fight, you just don't show up. You know. Is the guy when there's riots against the police or something like that? He's the guy in the back, you know, just saying things, whispering things like, I don't like you guys. I'm rioting too. Like, just stay at home. Like, you don't have to be a bad guy. You can do what you want. Just the perfect spot for you is right over here, you know, maybe even a bit further to the back. So whenever this area, when there's links over here, you can do some work, but don't pretend, don't join the forces, you know, like you don't want to be sent out, just go home. This tank is completely useless, okay? It should be over here, or maybe even a bit over here. It kind of covers the front line, covers these Marines, covers this tank. Actually can maybe shoot at a potential flank. This is pathetic. So, you have these Marines who are heavy stim addicts, completely overstimmed. Single Baneling would be able to take all of them out. Luckily here, for our Terran player, it hasn't happened. Kills a lot of creep tumors though, only loses a single tank. And if he packs up now and takes this bad boy with him, I'm not even going to complain too much about this. You know, this wasn't a great fight, but he cleared a bit of creep, he only lost a single tank. You can just pack up, go home. 4th CC on the way, 2nd factory on the way as well. And he decided, you know what, perhaps getting those shields on my Marines isn't too bad, because I keep stimming again and again and again, and I kind of would like them to be able to tank a Baneling shot at some point in their life. So yeah, I do like that a lot. 2nd factory on the way. Honestly, the theory behind this is all proper, right? You're going to be playing 5 racks into double factory, 4th CC, 2 upgrade. What is this barracks positioning? But you know what's possible? Is there's a setting in StarCraft. Okay, I'm going to show you guys the setting. And the setting is where is that? The mouse and keyboard is the mouse scroll speed. I think this guy has the scroll speed all the way to 100. And whenever he touches the edges, it just flies across the map. And what happens is he goes into one of his bases, right? He goes over here. It's like, okay, selects his worker, clicks the build button, gets the barracks, and actually goes over here. It's like, oh, barracks over here, because his building positioning is just this is not SimCity. Like if this guy was a city planner, like the hospital would be like 15 kilometers away from the city center, because his mouse just went like this to the corner of the map again and again. Like there's absolutely no logic. Like this CC, what is this CC doing? Usually you build it over here. 2nd factory is supposed to be over here. Like you build your first barracks is at the ramp. This is the only building that is in the correct position. And the E-base, I guess, I'm surprised that he managed to land the CCs in the correct spot, because holy crap, this guy has absolutely no clue of any type of city planning. Please, I hope to God for the future of China, this man is never going to get a job as a potential city planner. That would not be good. So this is the double line he was talking about. We have that little bit of multitasking. He's doing a good job, honestly. Even without combat shield, he's picking stuff up. He's relatively quick, I think, at least. Yeah, he's fast, you know. 300 APM as a Terran, that's not bad at all. Now we have some unsieged shenanigans here. He's gonna siege them all in the same spot. Not a big fan of this against Ravagers, because Biles can usually kind of, well, if the Zerg would decide to bile, could do something about that. Half of the Marine force is very focused on taking out these extractors, while the rest of the army is being taken out. I guess the main priority here was ensuring that this hatchery almost goes down. It does take out this hatchery. I like that he shot down an extractor, half an extractor, and like 90% of this hatchery as well. It's like, you always gotta kind of imagine in these scenarios is what would happen if that DPS was focused on the units, okay? So if you have a Ravager, that's what, like 120 HP, right? Yeah, 120 HP on a Ravager. This hatchery is like 1500. He just basically, he focused like 9 Ravagers down, but instead he almost got a hatchery. And same with this extractor. Like, this extractor tends to have like, I think it's 500 HP, right? Yeah, 500 HP. He killed one. The other one is halfway down. Like, that's another 3-4 Ravagers. Like, he probably would have just straight up won the fight. Now, it's still not bad because he took out the base. He has his own fort base. His worker production has been a bit mediocre, but he has a good sieged up position here that should never be capable of being broken. I mean, he's up like 20 army supply. He has 2-2 upgrades, 3-3 on the way. I'm completely happy with this. He sees the move out from his opponent. He decides to counterattack, and then you just kind of defend your sieged position. Or you move out on the map with all of your units unsieged into banelings after you spot what's happening. He loses half of his army. He's like, hey, I think I can give you the other half as well. Yeah, he's kind of right about that. He's giving the other half of his army. He literally just like lost 60 army supply for absolutely no reason. This absolutely makes no sense. This made no sense. You know what I think happened here? I feel like he's once done this before, you know? This fight that he did over here just now, he's had this before and he won it. And this is kind of what we call a dumb decision, okay? And this is based on a prior experience. And I think this is actually called the survivor bias. So what happens is people that have something good happen to them, or they just survive in general. That's why it's called survivor bias. They think that every decision that led up to that good thing was a good decision because the outcome was good, right? But that's not true. And I'm gonna illustrate that with an analogy. Imagine you're into stocks, okay? And in order to decide what stock you're gonna take, what you do is you go to your local zoo. You start taunting the monkeys until they throw poop at you, and then you calculate the speed of the poop. And based on the speed of the poop slung at you by the monkeys in your local zoo, with a formula, you decide which stock to pick. And you pick a stock that rises a lot. And you go, see, the method works. But that's not quite how it works, my friend. Like, everything leading up to your decision was incorrect. The fact that you got the correct outcome doesn't necessarily mean that the process going towards that decision was correct. And that's what you did here. You already had this happen before, but in reality, you just had some monkeys throw poop at you. And that's not the proper way to play StarCraft. So I had to go very deep for that one. Planetary Fortress on the fort base. I do like that. Even though that fight was god-awful, the situation still is somewhat manageable. The creep isn't great. Really, he truly has been doing a great job at kind of clearing creep in the early game. There's only 4 bases for this. Why does the same thing again? Why does he keep moving into the open space to siege his tank? He's like, I like defensive chokes, but you know what would be better? If the Zerg could just surround me and all of his units would be useful. It's very inclusive, I have to admit, our good Terran friend over here, but not really the proper way to play. He's gonna end up losing this planetary, but the Zerg is gonna pay a big and hefty fine for that in losing his entire army. And honestly, they're both kind of throwing the game onto each other. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if either of these guys was baseball players, because they're extremely good at throwing. We have 3-3 about to finish up, and now that he's won a fight, our good Chinese Terran decides it's time to move out once again. 28 Marines, 3 Marauders, 3 tanks as well. I'm kind of a fan of this. I'm a fan of this move out, okay? If he micros this well, he could potentially do something. You know what I'd like even more? If he just loads up like 2 medavacs and just goes to this area or something like that. There's almost no creep on that left side. And if you check, there's no 5th base over here. Maybe there's a 5th base over here. And 4 base versus 4 base tends to be quite beneficial for Terran. Did I lower the speed of the game? Accidentally? I think I had. Yeah, nice. It's gonna be one hell of an episode then. It's like twice as long as usual. Drilling clause starts for the currently 0 mines, but honestly I don't mind it either, because against big Ling Bane count, getting a couple of mines can be quite useful. So if he eventually throws this onto a reactor, or he throws this one onto the reactor, that actually could be kind of beneficial. We have a Ling run by, we have a Ling Bane run by being set up. This Zerg is playing well as well, by the way. This is not a bad game. This was a Masters game, 4.2, but these guys are making very solid plays all the way throughout. I like to see it, you know, you love to see it even. The only problem right now for the Terran here is that the Zerg is kind of out-mining him. This is a good position. Now, this is proper... Well, let's ignore these 2 tanks on the right side. Let's pretend that didn't happen, okay? Just make my camera a bit bigger so we don't see that. This fight actually wasn't too bad. Now, sure, he lost a crap ton of workers, but the way that he did this fight, he actually stayed in a defensive position. Also, okay, this is pissing me off. Why every single time that he sees he's being attacked, he decides now is a great time to go and deny some creep on the other side of the map. Like, this is fine if you're up 40 supply or you know you're going to absolutely blast the fight, but if the fights are as tight as this, you're going to need every single unit you can at home, buddy. Like, you're just going to need it. How many workers did he lose, right? He only lost 25 workers, which means he didn't really build that many workers overall, and he's been very bad at rebuilding workers as well. Also, his gas income is plenty. You know, like, he has do you think this guy just does it automatically, or actually looked at his resource tab? I was like 2.8k gas, huh? I think this, with my 48 SCVs, I might be going into a late game. It might be best if I add 2 extra refineries here on the 3rd. I'm surprised he hasn't rebuilt this one yet, but I see the SCV is already ready and in position, ready to go. There's an orbital here. Wait, what? Why would he build an orbital here? He keeps getting attacked into position by pure Ling Bane. You're gonna get an orbital on your 4th base, buddy. I thought he flew over the main for a second, but no, that actually was... That should have been a planetary. So, okay, he's gonna get his reactor now. I like that. It's gonna be going into mines. He's taking defensive positions. All he needs is a little bit of counter harass on the other side. And he needs to increase his Marauder production. He built a barracks over here. I like that as well. I actually kind of like the moves this guy is making here. And these Banelings are trying their absolute best to get to these rocks, but these Links are just kind of denying them. That's just sad. That's just sad. It's gonna take the 5th base with the orbital from the main. Income is pretty far behind here for the Terran. Once again, one of the tanks not sieged up. But Zerg is trying to look for an angle. Is not really going to be able to find it. I don't think, at least. I don't think he's going to be able to find it. Except, I guess, on this 5th base. But yeah, there's really not much to defend. Tank, once again, not sieged. Hello? What are these splits? What are these splits? Okay, a quick tip. If your opponent has Banelings, which, for the people not aware, explode on your units, the thing you don't want to do is you don't want to run forward into that. You want to be running back, kiting towards your tanks. Now, not all tanks are in position, but it's to be expected, right? You have to cover a big area here. What can help is a sensor tower, which is practically map hack, and it sees where your opponent is attacking. What you don't want to do is you see the Banelings come in, and then run towards them. Yeah, you'll lose the fight. Like, these ultras didn't even do any damage. You just literally ran into Banelings. GG. Overall, units lost still in favor of the Terran. Even after those fights, I think, if anything, my friend, you might have been the broken race. Like Okay, let's just go over this real slow and easy. Okay, you said you cleared a lot of creep. That's correct. You cleared a lot of creep. You took out the base. That's true as well. Let's not forget about maybe 1600 damage that you put on the extractor and like 3/4 of another hatchery as well, which probably would have straight up won you the game. The forgetting of combat shield, the initial forgetting of the +2 attack, the weird attack, the monkey throwing poop at you in the middle of the map. Like, I have absolutely no clue what you were doing there. You kept taking terrible fight after terrible fight, and somehow you're still up in units lost. My friend, I think the issue is absolutely not with Zerg being able to reproduce so fast. It's just with you being terrible at taking fights. Like, Sun Tzu is looking at this and he's gonna be real upset. You're a poor military strategist. And not only that, my friend, you also suck. And that's the way it has to be sometimes. Alright, that's going to be it for today's episode of Is It Imba or Do I Suck? If you did like this episode, don't forget to smash the like button on this video. Hit subscribe as well, as there will be more videos like this every single week on this channel. And every single day there's another video of series that you guys like less, and that's okay. I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.